we got to take a second to thank the hostess with the mostest, or the host, LaShawn, because if it wasn't for her, this episode would not be airing. Because I damn sure was like, yo, I'm going to just wait until 2025 and drop these other episodes on them. And she was like, nah, that ain't it.
Not the wave.
Not the wave. Call me out. Call me out. So we're going to give her a big thank you for this episode titled Changes. Season 3, episode 5.
Welcome back. And thank you so much for the shout out, for the kudos.
For sure.
I am super, super, super intentional. I know we may have said in episode 1 or 2, 3, or 4, but I know stepping into season 3, I was highly intentional about being committed to being consistent with you and us being consistent with this podcast, because apparently the people say we got something to say.
Hey, we've been getting fan mail, DMs from y'all, and we really appreciate it. I know I do too, but let me back up real quick before I say I appreciate it. How can I appreciate it for real if I wasn't willing to do an episode for y'all after you just said, yo, what y'all doing? We rocking with it. Keep going. It's giving me this. It's giving me that. You know, you helped me out with this. You helped me out with that. And then for me to turn around and put myself at the forefront and say, yeah, I'm cool on the episode. Like, we just gonna, you know, get everybody to listen to the ones that we just put out. And that's not leadership. Because a leader is always going to think about the collective first, you know? And so I'm like, do I really appreciate the small amount of impact that we've had so far when I say that? Or am I just saying it just to say it?
I think that's something for you to ask yourself and answer it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying it because this is the type of introspection that I do. Not on the daily, but, you know,
yeah,
I'm just doing it out loud
for
others to hear it and be like, dang, you know what? That do make sense. Because then it allows them to do the same thing, to turn that mirror so they can face themselves. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Because if we do this for the people and then I say, nah, like I ain't really up for it. The people don't care about that.
You got to do it even when you don't want to.
Even when you don't want to, even if you're feeling sick. If you have something for them and they need that, you got to give it to them.
Now, if you hacking, you know, and coughing and your fever is
different,
you know, so
yeah,
if there's things going on where one or both of us are not literally physically able to do it, then okay.
I feel like there's strategy too.
But we can work it out.
Yeah, we can work it out. We worked it out before.
It's not, do you remember the episode?
I do.
In season
1.
1? Or 2?
Yeah. It was season 1. And it was the last episode of season 1 going into season 2.
Yes.
Or was it season 2?
Yes, it was I believe it was season 1 going into season 2. And we didn't know it.
Yeah.
And we both were sitting there with COVID.
No, that Yovid.
The Yovid.
The Yovid. The Yovid. Yeah. And because that's what led us into doing it together. Because remember, before I started out with just me.
Right.
And then that episode got the most downloads out of all the episodes. Which then we was like, okay, well, we can do this together.
Right.
Which led us to this point right here.
Yep. And guess what? We still did it.
And we here now. So, yo, I thank you for calling me out on my shit, because this is bigger than me. It's bigger than you. And it is for reasons unknown at this point. Maybe we got an idea, but I think it'll all make sense next year, sometime in Q2. The real amount of impact that we've had so far, even with the other episodes, but just seeing it in hindsight, week after week after week after week, just
Right.
putting it in, staying consistent, seeing the community being built,
Right.
The magnetism and all that, you know, just everything just gelling together the way it's supposed to. I think we'll see what we're really building around that time.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
Yeah.
But let's do a formal welcome. Welcome to the Can I Talk My Shift podcast. Your host, LaShawn G. Walker and Samuel Walker, INS.
P.O.
Yeah. We want to welcome you to the number one podcast for wellness, personal accountability,
and leadership in life after loss.
Yeah, buddy. We welcome you to this episode. Changes. We are going to do a shorter version of our typical episodes simply because right now we are literally sitting in the midst of big change. If you haven't been following us on Instagram, you might not know, but we just made a big, huge move from Atlanta, Georgia to.
Don't tell them that. Just let them. It's going to be a surprise. It's all, yeah.
Keep
you
following.
Giving stuff away, man. Like, no, you can't do that.
Keep following then. You keep following us.
Who knows is supposed to know. And who don't know will find out soon.
Well, we made a big move. That's for sure. If you follow us, you've seen the boxes and boxes and boxes.
And the U-Haul.
And the U-Haul.
And everything else in between.
Right. So if you have ever done a move, you know it requires a lot of your attention, a lot of your effort, and we literally were doing it all. Well, no, Samuel was literally doing it all. I was on Sakara duty, and he definitely took care of the family and packed us all up lovingly, and we made our way. And so I wanted to be sure that we had an episode where we acknowledged, like, in the midst of it all, in the midst of change, you can keep going. You can keep up being consistent. It might look a little different, but it's not impossible. And for anybody else out there experiencing in the midst of, just completed some, about to go into some changes, I want to make it known in this episode that, you know, if you're looking at your situation, just know the change is there for a reason. And even if you might not know what it is, one thing is for sure is that there's better days upon you.
How bad you want it?
How bad do you want it?
How bad do you want it? Like, if you already know for a fact that the way that things are will not get you the results that you want for whatever it is that you want, and you know that there's a change that needs to happen, and then you go about and create the change, but you see that you got to take it in steps. You got to keep doing it over and over and over again. Why would you stop before you see the result? Because it ain't come yet?
Yep, that's
You know
one
what I'm
reason.
saying?
That's one reason.
But it's
though.
like, but does it really make sense when you really like break it down like that? So you on your way, right? We on our way to a destination, and we forgot something in the previous location. It's like, do I really need that? Do I go all the way back to grab it. And then I get back to where I started and I'm like, dang, that jank a lot further than I was already on my way. You know what I'm saying? I was already on my way there. But I decided to go all the way back home. And now I'm looking at it and it seems further than what it was before.
But is it worth it?
All I'm saying is, changes.
Mm-hmm.
Like how you called me out, that really woke me up to say, change, man. The humility it takes to be someone, to put themselves at the forefront of something that they may question themselves, but also other people may question too.
Mm-hmm.
It takes courage, but it also takes consistency.
Right.
More than anything else. If you just stay consistent, even on them days that you kind of doubt it, you're going to come out not unscathed, but you're going to come out better for it, and you're going to see the results.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you say it all the time, and, we, people in general, those who tend to offer counsel, wise words, encouragement, support, a lot of people who receive it are very grateful for it and they get it and, they get the light bulb moments. But a lot of times we don't follow that same wise counsel, that same advice, encouragement, support. And, this was just kind of one of those times, where I looked at it and it's like, man, we say all the time, in order to have something you've never had, you got to do something you've never done. And I'm only going to speak for myself in this situation. There's a lot of things that I know for a fact I have stopped. I've started and stopped. And I thrive off completion. I have completed before. I've been in phases and eras throughout my life where I've completed. I've done everything it takes to get to that finish line of said thing, but I've also started a lot and stopped, not knowing what the end result could be, or even a progressed result could be. And going into another calendar year, again, like I said at the beginning of this episode, I am committed to being so intentional about staying committed to this, because I know the value that people are gaining from it. I know that we have what it takes. We have the grit, we have the drive, and it doesn't make sense to not utilize that.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going to do something we've never done or we haven't done in a while, what's the point of doing this podcast at all?
Right.
I've never done consecutive podcasts. I've done lives on Instagram in previous years, and I was very consistent with that, but I stopped, not knowing what the end would look like because I stopped. So it's like, let's try something different. We're tired. We have been on it. You have been on it all week. I have been on it all week plus. And it did look good to say, you know what? We can't let's just relax. Let's just get some rest. And then I said, no, it's not. What's worth it is being consistent.
Yeah.
What's worth it is not stopping when we feel tired.
Mm-hmm.
Flat out.
And it feels good when you can look at it when you're done and be like, yeah, like I still stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
I stuck with it. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You ain't looking for no pat on the back from nobody else outside of yourself. You
Right.
just know for yourself, I kept my word.
Right.
I kept my word. No better feeling. There's no better feeling than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think about it, I'm like, 4 years ago, kept my word.
Yeah.
Still here. Sober.
Right.
Haven't once picked up a Black and Mild, a joint, or a drink.
Right. Going on 5 years, it's been over 4.5 years now.
And I look at that and I say to myself, like, at one point, I could never see myself living life without those things.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at my life like, how did I ever do it? Two totally different perspectives. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, in the middle of change, stick with the change. Don't go back.
If you're committed, change is going to happen. And if you're committed, the change is going to be worth it. And, that's really what I would like to drive home to those who are listening. We're always in change, right? It's the only constant is change. And I think we live in a life now that is so fast paced. Everything right now, everything. It's right at your fingertips. And we forget that one simple, but we make it hard element of consistency in change is what drives us to our best work, our best self, our best relationships, is being consistent in the midst of change. So anybody out there in the midst of it, about to be changing in something, or just coming out of a big change, just know it's worth it to keep going. It was worth it to keep going. It will be worth it to keep going. So, yeah.
Yeah. In the midst of you getting together your ideas for your New Year's resolutions and all of those things, make sure that you put consistency at the top of that list for whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, because that's the only way, right, that you're going to be able to get the results that you want. And it takes time.
Yeah.
Everything takes time to grow.
Even if that consistency is rest.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like you can have a consistent schedule of rest where you insert it in a space where it makes sense for you, it works for you, and it's good for you. It doesn't have to be good for anybody else, because like we said, even though we are in the midst of change, we decided to take a pause, realize what matters in this moment, which is the consistency of our podcast, and understanding that in the midst of this change, there's going to be some rest required. So, just prefacing all of this and saying, we're going to take some rest during this season of rest for everyone else who, is out of school, off work, and enjoying family time and the holiday season for those who celebrate the different holidays. We acknowledge that. You may turn on a podcast, you may not. You may be spending that time and enjoying that time with your family. So we're going to take a rest going into 2025, but we wanted to make sure that we came in and, again, let you know what's going on with us. It's kind of a right now, a vlog without the video.
We're acknowledging that we're in the dead season.
Yeah.
So the dead season means the winter.
Right.
Because if you follow us and the things that we've learned and that we'll continue to talk about and bring you up to speed on, but the new year for us is in spring. That's when springtime or that's when our new year officially starts, the first day of spring, not
the first day of winter.
Right, the first day of winter or the first day of the new year.
Right.
So being in the dead season when there is no plant life because it is so cold and frigid where we are, we're still planting seeds. And so by that, our way of resolution is a little bit different in the timeliness than what you're probably used to. But the reason why we're doing this one is so we can continue to plant the seeds, right? So that way when it is time in the springtime to reap the harvest, to reap what you sow, you know what I'm saying? You get what's coming in the best way possible.
Absolutely.
You feel me? And so, but for those who decide to do the New Year's resolution and do the ball drop, and you got the holidays rocking off, and you got your turkeys and your cookies and your Santa Claus stuff and all that, hey man, more power to you. If you want to stay consistent in that, do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one to do that. I follow another suit and another way of life and another way that is cyclical and betterment for, or it is better for my family. And either way it goes, as long as you embrace those changes for whatever is to come, hey, I salute you. Period.
Oh, yeah.
Period. So yeah, we will have a little brief, I guess, I don't know, you want to take a break or something? Or?
No, we're acknowledging that during this particular time of the year that, you know, people are resting. People are taking time off of work, off of school. They're in their winter break.
Yeah.
Ironically, yesterday was the first day of the winter solstice. So, you know, we are going to take a pause as well. And we will come back still in season 3. But we're just going to take a pause while everyone is resting and rejuvenating and getting ready for 2025. And we'll come back to you all in the beginning of the year, probably around this first full week of January. We got some dope topics coming up for you, dope episodes. But we also want to let you know to go ahead and send us a DM, you know, while you're resting, you listen to this episode, you know, before you put that phone down, close your laptop until 2025, go ahead and DM us at Can I Talk My Shift and let us know what you want to talk about. What do you want to hear? What is on your mind that you've been chewing on, that you have been looking for some resolution that you think we can help you with in the realm of personal accountability, in the realm of leadership, in the realm of being victorious in life after loss? Let us know what is on your mind, and maybe your question, your concern, your thought might be a topic in the new year. We're always looking for topics, things that you guys want to hear about that maybe you've had on your mind and just didn't want to say or couldn't say.
That's a fact. You can also go to canitalkmyshift.com, scroll down to the bottom of the website and click where it says send us a text. We want to hear from you. And you can send us a message that way as well.
Yeah.
You can contribute to the podcast if you want with donations. And you can also email us at info@canitalkmyshift.com because we are official.
Yes.
You feel me? This is the LLC for real.
For real.
If they didn't know, you know what I mean? Yeah. Also, holla at LaShawn at TheLG_ on Instagram. Holla at your boy, Sam Walker Inspo on IG. And you can see the podcast on YouTube as well. This season doesn't have any visuals yet, but we'll bring that back soon. We wanted to really just focus on being consistent with the audio first. And then when we incorporate the interviews, it's going to be cracking.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Again, in the midst of change, you know, we want to make sure that when we come back correct, when we come back correct. So
we show up
I'm
for
excited.
y'all show up for us. It's reciprocal, you know.
And who wants to see us in the middle of all these boxes? I mean,
I mean, I don't know. You know, it might not have been a bad idea, but I just know us.
yeah,
Coming off that road, hitting the storage unit, hitting all of these different things. It was just like, man, this is a lot. But you were right. It's not enough to break your consistency.
right.
And I hear when you saying like, yo, we gonna take a break and all that. Maybe we just still stay consistent and do another episode after this one. Don't know. We'll see. Only because it's like, it's not that season for us.
Right.
That is, you know, majority of people, but that's not everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's just something for you and I to talk about. I'm not against this just being an informative episode and y'all out there being like, oh man, so they ain't gonna be here till the new year. Cause the momentum is strong.
Right. We're still going to be working now.
I feel the momentum.
We're still going to be working. I want to acknowledge our listeners who, you know, may want to catch up with some previous episodes.
Right. This is a great time to do that.
Who may want to catch up with previous seasons.
It's a great time to do that, yo. Failure is not a person. I have seen that episode going crazy. And I think that was the first one that I did solo.
Yeah.
That episode is it actually has the most downloads.
Right.
Out of all the episodes that we done.
Hey, well, see, you got something that you can go back to, that you can reflect on, that, you know, that just sounds good to your ears. It just sounds good to your ears. So, like I said, just being considerate of our listeners who, you know, are in their rest period. We give them an opportunity to catch up, to be present with their families, and that way they, you know, they don't have to feel like they're missing out on our episodes. We'll be back. We'll definitely, we're going to still be working. We're still going to be doing our thing. And I want to honor us with where we are in this season that we can, you know, recollect ourselves, get completely settled where we are for this season, and, you know, come back fresh to death and ready and rejuvenated. Baby girl is asleep right now, but, you know, she'll even be a little bit older and be able to hold her own when you hear her in the background. So that's all I was saying. Like, we're going to take a pause for it. Take a pause for the cause.
I feel it. Well, before we get out of here, I wanted to acknowledge anyone who is dealing with heavy emotion during the holidays. This can be a great time to be with family and friends and be festive. And this can also be a very heavy energetic time for those who are dealing with the loss of loved ones, who are still holding on to grief or in different stages of grief, who haven't quite dealt with acceptance of losing something or someone, right? Or a loss of self, identity, in the middle of change.
Right.
All these things. And so I want to salute you if you are spearheading that in your life and you want to become more vocal about it. If you're looking to deepen relationships with family members and friends by becoming more vulnerable, this is a great time to do it. Although it may feel scary, fear is not real. And what's on the other side of taking that leap and being vulnerable and having a conversation that's necessary with another family member, with a friend, you'll never know if you don't do it. But it's better to say that you tried it versus wondering what would happen if you ever did.
Man.
So
say that again.
Yo, I salute you. I salute you if that's where you at. If you at that crossroads and you're not doing it and these words fall upon your ears, yo, go for it. Go for it. Go for it. go for it. And if it's time to let someone or something go for it.
Yeah.
You know, like this is that time where we can't play around no more. We're not getting no younger. Our dreams aren't getting any younger, right?
Facts.
And abundance is for you, but you have to be willing to let go of things that stifle it and that make you feel like you are, you know, deficient, that you are working from a place where you are repelling things. You know what I'm saying? So changes. Let this be the key to unlock the door that you can walk through with a smile and say, you know what, it is time. Especially us dudes, let's become a little bit more vulnerable, little by little. Women, let's become a little bit more transparent.
Right.
Not honest, but transparent. There is a difference, you know.
That could be another episode.
Yeah. Relation and all of these couples out here, let's become more transparent.
Yes.
We have to be honest first, but then we need to be transparent. You know, honestly is like, hey, yeah, I was feeling like this when you did that, and it made me feel like this. Not being passive aggressive, but being direct. Transparency is someone calling you out on something and then you being transparent about it with the details and not omitting. All right. Same thing if you're going through, like I said, with your emotions, your feelings, all these things. Now is the time.
Right.
Because the energy is so heavy. The only way to counteract that is with truth and transparency and honesty coming from a place of love, so that the intent is to build a deeper bond with whoever you're dealing with.
Right.
I'll leave y'all with that.
Man, we love you. We appreciate you. We send you all of our good energy to carry you on when you need it. You just need to feel 1% better. You just need to do 1% better. You just need to be 1% better. We send you good energy in this season. We appreciate you, and we will see you in the next episode.
For sure. Can I talk my shift? The pod.